As always, it is my pleasure that you join me for today's podcast of Second Chance Coaching. My name is Dr. Richard Lewis. If you'd be so kind as to leave me a rating and your feedback, I would very much appreciate it, and it will help others like you to optimally discover this podcast wherever you listen to this and your other favorite podcast. As you know, at Second Chance Coaching, we focus on seeing everyday life through the eyes of the returning citizen and highlighting the resiliency of the human spirit. I would love to work with you one-on-one, whether you're a returning citizen or coaching client seeking your second chance, or you're a representative of a business, college, or university seeking to integrate and support returning citizens in your respective organizational and learning environments. Please feel free to contact me via email at richard@secondchancecoaching.com or via Instagram at the Dr. Richard Lewis. Happy New Year 2025 and welcome again to another edition of Second Chance Coaching. As always, it is my pleasure to join you on another week of your reentry journey from whichever corner of the world you're listening from. We always remain humbled and excited that you decided to spend a part of your week with us. Today is our return from our designated mid-season holiday break, and it is my hope that 2025 is treating you well thus far and the holiday season was a peaceful and blessed one. I want to definitely send a shout out to our Second Chance family out in California, specifically Southern California, that are battling all the wildfires right now. We hope you're keeping safe. We're praying for you, and we hope that there's a quick end to this wildfire situation very, very soon. But in the meantime, we are keeping you in solid and consistent prayer. For me, I had an enjoyable holiday break. I had an opportunity to take a break from all the everyday schoolwork and all the running around. That included, all the other stuff, all the things that I do. So it was good to kind of take a break and slow down the schedule a little bit. I try to catch up with family and friends in person that I usually don't see during the course of the year. And I wasn't completely successful with that, but I did make promises to a lot of folks, and they made promises to me too, that in 2025 we would commit to seeing each other and spending more quality time. For sure, we'll make that happen. I already have made plans to break bread with a lot of folks in the new year, and it makes for a better dynamic, for a work-life balance. And just, it's just good to see people, period. It was really good to do that. Now, the highlight of the holiday break was that my daughter, my son-in-law, and the main event, my granddaughter, came into town. And I had dinner with them and my son-in-law's family, and I truly enjoyed the quality time. And while my thoughts did go sometimes to who has transitioned before us, I made sure not to forget to enjoy who was right there in front of me, loving upon me in that very special moment of family bonding time. Now, I know the next thing you're thinking of is what kind of fun or amusing, entertaining things are going on with the condo. A lot of things going on with the condo. We're at a place where we will be closing on our loan this month. We're going to be voting. We're going to have an information session tomorrow for all the resident owners about the loan, and then we'll have a vote as a building to vote to take the loan in. And with the assumption that that vote passes, we'll be closing our loan this month to complete the financing for our concrete restoration project and actually start the process of the work taking place. This will include a hefty assessment to all of us resident owners, but there is momentum, of talking and passing, the rules as far as there's momentum. I mean, I'm saying the rules and the bylaws. I'm talking about two different things, but there's momentum in making sure that we pass and get this financing. And there's also momentum in talking about passing in the bylaws to allow rentals of our units, which could help resident owners with cost. But when it comes to rentals, we're still a long way from that. But we're in the process of hopefully when this closing takes place, that within the next, month and a half to 2 months, that we'll start actually doing the concrete restoration and start doing, this building will look like a construction zone for a short period of time. While things are not completely fun or amusing here at the condo, What I can say, it was certainly entertaining, but even in saying that it's entertaining, it was sad. There was one resident owner. We had an emergency order to do some of the plumbing work in one of the lines on one of the building lines, and we were trying to get them to say to not utilize the pipes because we needed the work to be done. And there's one resident owner who's always cantankerous and always wants to push back and always wants to be mad. I think he's just a miserable individual, and he didn't want to adhere to the emergency order and that needed repair. And even though he was told not to use the bathroom for a short period of time, he still used the bathroom, and it ended up having fecal matter and urine get into the unit just below his. 3 days before Christmas, can you believe that? And while we were able to get it cleaned up for that unit that experienced that craziness, just going through it was just so unnecessary. And certainly, we're sending the offending unit owner the bill for the cleanup. And even though he'll want to contend it and say it was an accident, he did know about the repair. But certainly, the consequences of bad behavior and really pushing back against folks. We live together. We have to sit there and be cooperative with one another. Hopefully, maybe 2025 will be a new year. He'll be a little better. Who knows? But next thing, that's going on here for the new year, it's not like I don't have plenty to do already, but I'm grateful that another outstanding opportunity has been afforded to me. What I love the most about that is that multiple people are getting blessings. Right before I started recording the podcast, I got a phone call. A job interview opportunity has come my way. I put in for it a little while ago. Certainly, it's something that I still want to teach and keep my teaching job along with this opportunity. But this opportunity has just come up, and I'll be interviewing with them next week, and so I'm looking forward to that. And in addition, as of yesterday, in addition, what has happened as of yesterday, one of my former doctoral classmates and a good friend of mine, who also works at the same college I'm at, he was just named our new vice president of student services. I'm so excited for him. There's so much room for improvement in that division, and it's long overdue. And I know he's the man for the job, to really raise morale, bring excellence to the division, make folks truly accountable, and bring satisfaction ultimately to the student experience. We want students to feel that they've experienced a good time when they're in college, when they're here for the time that they're here with us. And I know that under his leadership, that'll take place. So I say congratulations to my friend. I have your back every step of the way, and I'm here to help any way I possibly can. Due to his taking this job, he's leaving faculty, of course, and he was also serving as the institution's faculty senate president. Since I served as his vice president, I have now been elevated to faculty senate president, and it'll be my honor to lead the representation of faculty and all that comes with that, so we can continue to provide the optimal co-governance to help make this institution better for our faculty, for our students, and all who comes in contact with our college. So now, those are a couple of little updates. Now, going back to the holiday break, I did have occasion to, of course, meet with some second chance clients and certainly break bread with some other former classmates. And it was so good to catch up with both of them, with all those folks. And when it came during the course of dinner with my former doctoral classmates, the concentration quickly centered as one of my classmates sadly shared with us that his marriage is in trouble. His marriage is on the rocks. And out of the blue, he told us that his wife has asked him for a divorce. And he's trying to go through the process of, let's heal that. Let's try to go to counseling and see what's what. And as we speak on today's podcast, I know that he's trying to work it out. I think they're still trying to work it out, but unfortunately, there does seem to be going well. I mean, as we were telling him, two people have to be wanting to do it. And the more and more I spoke to him, since then and that night, there continues to be from his end, if I knew then what I know now, life would be very different. And when I talked to the second chance clients as well during the holiday break, because during the holiday break, well, like we've said before, there's so much that goes on during the holidays that people love, they celebrate and they enjoy each other. But also the holidays could be a tough time for folks. It can remind them as far as the tough times they have going on. And a lot of times what I see that, and it happens to me as well, that the holidays are really a time for reflection also, and to say, well, should I have done this? Should I have gone left? Should I have gone right? Should I have gone up? Should I have gone down? Whatever the case may be. And and think about, I wish I knew then what I know now. And I've certainly thought that like that on many occasions. But I think it's a little dangerous to get into that thought process. Not saying it's not a bad thing to reflect, but I don't like to open the door to regret. And in the last couple of years in studying the Stoics, I've learned that being regretful or walking around with regret is something that they did not like to do, and I try to stay away from as well. There are things certainly that I wish I knew then that I know now, but staying in regret is not the option I want to do. I could reflect, but I don't want to be in regret. And in speaking to second chance clients, I indicated to them in your reentry journey, and speaking to you as well, in your reentry journey, as you move forward, you'll think of things you should have not done differently, or desires a mulligan or a do-over. No matter what, those things are going to come up. But a wise mentor once told me that what has happened. You want to minimize regret, change the here and now. Right now, you could control what's going on right now and change the here and now, and sit there and do something different rather than look in the back rearview mirror to see I should have done this different, I should have done that different. Right now in the here and now, you could powerfully change the course of what's going on at this very moment, depending on the decisions you make. So, in staying with the theme of wishing I had done differently, I shared with them, and I shared with you a little bit, along that theme, like some of the things I wish I had done differently along the way. Not regret, but things I'd done differently. Number one, couple about seven things. Number one, I look at stuff I was always worried about. As I've told you, when mom was alive, she was a worrier, which moms do that. That's okay. And I looked at stuff that I was worked up and worried about over the years, and a lot of times I look back and say, wow, I don't even remember. Sometimes you don't even remember what you were worried about, and realize that some things that you were worried about was not a big deal. And number two, I think I regretted any time that I didn't go with my gut, that I didn't go with my heart, and really be aware of the situational awareness of things going on around me. Whether it be the interactions with people, interactions in a professional dynamic, or just things that are going on, and just not saying, you know what, this doesn't feel right. Maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe I shouldn't do that. I just, and I hate to use the word regret, but I will say that I wish I did differently. Not going with my gut, not going with my heart, and not getting into too much analysis paralysis. Number three, I did start going back to the gym and working out. So certainly I wish that I would have concentrated on my nutrition and working out much more earlier in life and continuously. Sometimes when you do the start stops, that's hard to get back into. And number four is to stop trying to power through foolishness, through crap. Stop trying to sit there and take a gold medal for suffering. There's no gold medal in suffering and taking it on the chin that you normally shouldn't sit there and do. Shouldn't do that. There's no gold medal for that. And I wish I would have done that differently. And I continue to look forward to make sure that's not something I'll choose to continue to do. Number five, and this is really important, especially when I talk to my college friends. I really believe that I should have taken a gap year before starting college. When I graduated high school in 1989, I think I should have taken a year to sit there and think about what it is that I wanted to do, how I wanted to go about doing it, get a taste of the working world, understand what's what. But of course, at that time, the biggest thing everyone would prioritize is that you got to go to school and you got to finish in a certain way. And you got to finish, you got to finish the race fast rather than finish the race. That's what it seemed to be prioritized. And of course, two of my best friends they were a year ahead of me. They'd gone straight to college. So even that implicit peer pressure was there to say, no, you got to keep going to school. What do you mean you're going to work? What is it that you're going to do? What is a gap year? I know my mother probably would not have understood it. And probably that's something that I would have, it would have been met with a lot of resistance. Not many people would have been happy about that. But ultimately, it's what it is that you want to do. But I think that it would have given me the opportunity to be clear on what I wanted to do going forward. Maybe I wouldn't have chosen to go to St. John's University. Maybe I would have went to the City University of New York, go to a cheaper school. And it doesn't mean that I regret going to St. John's. It doesn't mean that I don't love the friends and the family and the bonds that I made at St. John's. But who knows? Maybe I would have done something different had I taken a gap year. Number six, another thing that I think I would have done differently. I would have been certainly earlier when I was young, and be much more conscientious with my financial management. Don't spend on things that are in the now or very quickly. You want to make sure that you're being conscientious in your spending. Maybe when I was younger, I should have prioritized about buying a home. So then by now the home is paid off, certainly, buy and sell different homes and always be in the habit of buying and selling real estate so I could continue to sit there and build that generational wealth and certainly be, like I said, conscientious about my spending and my spending habits. And I think that the last thing I would say that I would have done differently was in my undergraduate years and my first graduate school experience, I would have taken my studies more seriously, developed more habits of more serious studies and doing those things better and being really concentrating and really leaning into what is going on right now. Now, number seven, of course, like I said, I would have done it differently and I don't have any regret. But the good thing is when I did have my second stab at grad school, I certainly took it more seriously and certainly did really, really well when it came to that. And particularly talking to the second chance clients and a lot of people that I work with in the reentry field, you know, the it was a fine line straddling between regret and should have done something different. And I really wanted to sit there and stress that to them, that saying, hey, you could have done something different. Even my friend, I was like, listen, your wife wants to get a divorce. Does that necessarily mean you shouldn't have gotten married? You have beautiful kids. So, but it's hard to tell people how to feel. You don't want to tell them how to feel. So you're right. You really try to straddle the fence between regret and maybe I would have done something differently, and I was telling them that there's a lot of things that one could do to manage regret if you go into that place where regret seems to be dominated over whether you not should do a little things differently. But I shared with them things that I found, online, in a total wellness health website. I forgot which one it was to talk about how to manage regret if you get into regretting things. I said, number one, acknowledge and accept your feelings. Don't try to suppress your regret. Understand it and understand why you're feeling that way. Analyze the situation. What led to your regret? What choices did you make? Don't dwell on the past, but say, okay, well, I'll do something different next time. Of course, number three, learn from the experience. What did you take away from that situation and how will you do something different in the future? This is number four, which is always the hardest thing. Forgive yourself. Everyone makes mistakes. I make mistakes. You make mistakes. We all make mistakes. And have some self-compassion. If you done and number five, if you've done wrong by somebody, make amends. Make amends if you can. If your actions have negatively impacted someone else, make amends and reach out to them. Next, reframe your perspective. Try to see the situation from a different angle. Look for some positive outcomes, even if they're small. Like I told my friend, you're gonna say, okay, you regret getting married, but you had beautiful children, and that's a wonderful positive outcome when it comes to that. And then next, which I think is last on the list, no, next to last on the list. Focus on the present and the future. You can control that. You don't need to worry about what has happened in the past. Your goals and your focus and your actions today and going forward can improve your life. That can make the difference in what it is that you're doing. Do that. And last but not least, if you're in trouble and you're struggling, seek support. Get help if you need it. Talk to a therapist, talk to a counselor, talk to somebody to say, this is what I'm going through and this is what I need. So when you're going through this season of thinking about what I should have done, I could have done something differently. I'm doing these New Year's resolutions or objectives and want to do something new for 2025, but then I'm stuck in what I did in 2024, 23, 22, 21, 20, 1989. think about sitting there saying, okay, what support mechanisms are out there that could really help me make better decisions along life and along my reentry journey. You know, I am so excited for 2025. There's so many things that are ahead for me. I know there's a lot of things that are ahead for you. Continue to take every single day as an adventure. Take everything every day step by step, one step at a time, and you will sit there and really optimize not only that day, but you'll optimize the year when you look back on it. So I want hopefully that next year at this time when we're starting 2026 and you're looking at back what 2025 was, there'll be less talk of I knew then what I know now, because you've really taken the steps to be intentional and not be regretful and just say, okay, this is how I'll do things differently. We look forward. We are so excited to be back with you for the second half of this season 6 of Second Chance Coaching. I want to thank you for your continued love and support of Second Chance Coaching. I want to wish you a healthy, happy, and vibrant, optimistic, productive, and blessed 2025. I want to thank you for always taking the time to share your time with me. Thank you for 2025. Please continue to spread Second Chance Coaching to your friends, family, and loved ones. Continue to do what it is again, to continue to do the positive things and help us be positive. There's things that we need to do. Let us know what it is that we need to do. Thank you again for joining us, and I look forward to spending time with you next week. And hopefully we'll be earlier again on Wednesday. But we made it for Wednesday. We made it for Wednesday this week. Take care, everybody. Thank you again for joining us here at Second Chance Coaching. In addition to coaching services for individuals and businesses, I'm also available for speaking engagements and workshops on criminal justice reentry, human resources, as well as organizational culture and leadership. Feel free to email me at richard@secondchancecoaching.com, as well as connect with me on Instagram at @DrRichardLewis. Remember, every day you are given this opportunity for your second chance, and I know you'll make the best of it. I love you all, and I look forward to connecting with you next time here at Second Chance Coaching.